the window cleaners have all been collaborating and praying together the last few evenings, and I've now got window cleaners lurgy. I've had a curse set up on me by the infuriated window cleaners, and I'm ill. I woke up this morning with what can only be described as a severe pink eye, and I've been sniffly, I'm snotty, I've sneezed. I've never sneezed so many times in a row. We just went to Aldi to do a big shop. I'm hot and cold. It's bad. It's not good. I'm struggling.
Oh, it's bad.
It's bad. But here comes the cure. The medication has arrived. Thank you so much. God, I'm so sweaty and hot and cold, and thank you. Oh, beautiful.
Hopefully you just have it like I did, and for like one day, then you'll be okay.
It's men have it.
I know.
It hits us slightly differently.
Yeah, hits you like. Like that.
Thank you. Thanks for the drinks.
Thanks for dinner.
Thanks for dinner.
Thanks for picking up, mate.
All right. I've had a stressful evening. I'm not getting the van back. The van's gone. It's on its arse. Dauntless welcome, Spencer. Shane, thank you so much. Very kind of you. What's happening? I'm in a world of pain. World of pain. You know you're live? Yeah, I know I'm live. I've just rushed my dinner so that I could be 2 minutes late to the live stream. Just on your first AstroTurf clean, it turned out amazing. How did you do it, Turner? How are you cleaning AstroTurf? I'm keen to know. Thank you, Soph. Love you. We've got the good stuff, boys. Oh dear. Don't mess with us window cleaners. Hey, Paul. You right, mate? The stream will just have to be Soph and Darren combo instead. I mean, that would make for a decent chat, to be fair. I bet they'd have a right old natter. I should have done it on a beat drop. That'd have been perfect. What are we talking about tonight then? A few little bits and bobs that I wanted to mention, but nothing crazy. Just here's a little taste of what's to come. This has pissed me off. What's happened to me events? What's going on? Events list. What's going on? There she is. What hooch is that? It's not hooch. It's some rum. It's Bumbu, B-U-M-B-U, spiced rum. This is going on silent. Stick that over there. We're gonna do a Q&A tonight. I've got a few bits I want to chat about, but nothing insane. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to survive, in all honesty, because I'm struggling. We've just done a big shop. I dropped my van off to the garage this morning. There's all sorts of things wrong with my van at the moment, and it's part of the reason why I haven't had my van sign written just yet. It's because I don't trust that it's going to survive much longer. It's on about 235,000 miles, and I've had the AdBlue system deleted. The DPF's been mapped out. But the issue was that when that was all done, the DPF wasn't removed and like drilled through and stuff. And so the amount of back pressure that's been created by the exhaust is insane, and it's like on the verge of just ruining the engine. Like, he read the ECU and he said, like, I've not seen back pressure like it before. It's crazy. And so I think that's what's caused the oil leak from the bottom of the turbo, is all that pressure because he reckons the oil leaks sorted itself out now. Because what I've been doing is turning up to people's driveways to clean them, and oil's just sort of pissing out the bottom of the van, and so I've got to be very careful where I'm parking. I can't get too close to people's property just in case I've ruined their drive. So giving my van to someone, and they're not close either, they're about 45 minutes away, and just sort of handing my business over to someone for like a whole day, it's been extremely nerve-wracking, and I think that's what's made me ill. So I've just been so anxious about it. The couple I've been working for today have been man down for 5 weeks with the lurgy, really. Ugh. Sophie's had the lurgy last week. Spotless Solutions, welcome, mate. How you doing? Craig, thanks for stopping in, mate. Always a pleasure. Tracy, you're right. I'm here to clean your drive. I'm going to upsell you an oil spill treatment for 250 quid. £10 off because it's my oil. Yeah, that sounds about right, to be fair. The bill's going to be at... He's already rang me and said, like... He said he was going to do the back brakes as well. Back brakes are seized. So I've virtually got no handbrake. Don't know how it got through an MOT, but it did. I've got a bill of about 550 quid, and I've still got an engine warning light on because of something to do with a injector fault. But at least now the engine's not going to explode in the near future. I don't know. Sorry to start like this. I'm just like I'm losing the plot at the minute. I was late. Well, I was like on tender hooks thinking, am I going to have to go pick up my van tonight? Like, he's still working on it. I haven't had a message. Thinking I'm going to miss the stream. I haven't got a video out tonight, and so everyone's going to be fuming about that. Hey, Jed. Welcome, mate. You're ordering the SLX 22. I had a chat with Jakey today, and we're definitely getting a new pole. I had a play with an over 8 today. I'll put a picture in the Discord. She was a big old thing. I got some new bits. Oh, I didn't take a picture of the new bits. Let me put them in the Discord so I can show you what I'm talking about. I had a little stop off at pressure washer sales and service this morning, because we needed to drop a little... I gave me a piece of equipment to test. It's a top secret project that I've been testing for them. And so we dropped that back this morning. And I also thought, now that I'm doing a few more roof cleans and stuff, it might be a good idea to get myself a surface cleaner for the roofs. And so I've bought from them one of those 14-inch yellow BE whirl away things that you just clip onto the end of. It's got a quick release on it, so you put it on the end of your lance, or you can stick it on the end of the power pole. And I'm just intrigued to try it. I didn't want to fully commit to like a Turbo Devil, for example. 300 odd quid. It felt like I don't know how many more roofs I'm going to do this winter, but it didn't feel like a good investment. I should have just got that one really, but I got the yellow one instead. I played with it over 8. Look at this size of this. This was a 40 foot, and I didn't realise they're virtually square. You can't really see from that angle, but the pole is virtually a square pole. Well, it's oval, isn't it? Because it's an over 8, but it's it was more square shaped than I expected. So we had to play around with that. PWSAS. She's heavy. She is heavy, but when she's on a roof, or you've got a surface cleaner on the end of it, or a turbo, you'd hope that it sort of takes its own weight, but I mean, that's around about the same floppage as my gutter vacuum system's power pole. But they do curve, and I think it's a little bit unavoidable, really. But so that was fun. I also got this. I forgot to take a picture of the actual surface cleaner, but I also got this little lubrication firkin that you stick into the surface cleaner to keep it lubed. Someone asked if it was a vape, and then I finally took the plunge and bought myself a mudsucker because they did me a little smelty discount on a mudsucker. So I thought it'd be a shame not to, considering the flood we had the other day. I don't know if I put a picture up. Let's park that one for a second. I think I did put a picture up on my Facebook for anyone who hasn't seen it. We had a horrendous flood on this job. This one here. Quite a big driveway in the grand scheme of things that we turboed a lot of it. You can see it hadn't been sanded last time it was cleaned. You can see all the gaps. Came up well. Those colours be popping. They certainly do be popping. And we had this horrible flood. There were two drains in the middle of... There's one over here and then there's another one here. But they were just soakaways and they didn't really go anywhere. Even though there was a storm drain on just on the other side of this bush in the street. But it clearly wasn't connected. And that was like... If you were to step in that's like above your ankle. It was very deep in the middle. And so we ended up having to brush that water uphill round this corner and back into the road. And what I would have given for a mudsucker just to go... I mean, look at this. Look at this. Go on then. Mudsucker. Look at the flow. Look at the amount of water coming out at the end of that.
I can't believe how much water's coming out, as you say.
It's like a fire...
This bucket in about 20 seconds.
It's like a fire hydrant.
All the stones and everything water in it.
And like Ollie said, no moving parts. It's not like a mechanical... I think they're very cool. Like, I've never actually used one. I couldn't believe how much water was coming out of it. Like, it must drain like a flood like that so quickly. And even if I was concerned that the hose might not be long enough, but when I spoke to H2O, they said occasionally they'll just fill like a wheelie bin and then just pour the wheelie bin out down the road and or just like send it somewhere else basically and just fill a wheelie bin at a time, which is creative. It's a very good idea. So I thought that was cool. Let's catch up. Have you started looking at other vans yet? No, in all honesty. We had to me and Jakey had a little chat today. We had to get a few things sorted before we looked into vans and stuff, but I think we've figured it out now. The next move is to look at fleet insurance. There was a good company who sold second-hand vans at the last expo, really. 550 quid to sort your van. It's not bad. Business will pay for it. Spencer, you are right. However, 550 quid isn't sorting my van. I've still got no handbrake because they're seized and he can't do it. He said, I think you're going to need to get someone with a 4-poster ramp to be able to do it properly. I've still got an engine warning light and some sort of injector fault. And I'm yet to see whether the oil leak is fixed. And so I'm 550 quid down, and I don't know. I'm just I'm struggling with my mind at the moment. I'm struggling to wrap my little brain around what I'm doing. I wasn't impressed with the over 8. Can't go wrong with the gardener products. Really? You've had an over 8 and you're not too bothered by it? Spotless Solutions. Which one would you go for? Having tested both, which gardener product would you go for over an over 8? Evening Bert, welcome. Get your van swapped quick. Yeah, I mean, but then are you just swap? Like, I'd rather, what's it called? Something about the devil, you know. I'd rather stick with the devil, you know, than the devil. So we had this issue last week. You know what I'm talking about. Rather the devil you know than the devil you don't know. That's how it goes, isn't it? Just message you on Instagram. Let me know what you think. Is it Elliot? Oh no, wrong person. I don't see any. Oh, I do. I've got you. I've got you. Oh, you got your AstroTurf clean. Ooh, let me have a look at that. Let me pull that up. That looks banging, that does. I only saw a little glimpse of it. I only saw a glimpse. Let's whip her up on stream. God, the amount of message requests is wild. What do you think of my Astro clean? Shame I can't make that picture any bigger. Open in new tab. Here we go. So that's the before. Lots of debris, lots of leaves. Looks quite faded. And there's, look at that for a transformation. I've got a few questions. It looks like you've used, have you used water or is it just rained that day? Because it's certainly wet on the ground. How have you got the stripes? How have you cleaned? I just want to know how you've cleaned it, really. I worry that I think AstroTurf it's very difficult to know how someone's laid the AstroTurf. Like it's very easy to do like a quick, cheap shit job where you'll just literally roll it out over the top of some grass that's already there, nail in the corners, and you call it a done. But to do it properly is like a proper process of digging out the underneath, putting like that lime grano dust down, hardcore lime dust, sand or whatever, pinning down the edges properly and stuff. So like I wonder whether cleaning it you have to be very careful about how it's been laid in the first place, and would that change the method of cleaning? But that's a fantastic result, mate. Cracking job. Turner power washing, represent. Before and after pictures, portfolio. Alex, welcome. Dauntless, I used my mates for a couple of days and just didn't feel as good as the SLX. Really? You thought the SLX felt better than the over 8? Hello, Luke. Evening shag. Yeah, I mean, it's ongoing van problems. It's stuff that's been around for a while. I've only just been a little bit proactive about getting it sorted. I bought the 14-inch yellow and thought it was a bit heavy. You'll be buying the £300 one next, do you think? I mean, I'm happy having bought the cheaper one just to test it out and just to see how I feel. And if I don't know how much heavier it would be than one of the metal ones, because they're stainless steel, the Turbo Devils, aren't they? Can you power pole, synergy, etc. off gutters and stuff? Hello. Good night.
Who are you talking to?
Who am I talking to? All these people, look. See all these people writing?
I have nothing all around my mouth.
You've got muffin all around your mouth. You had one of my muffins. You cheeky, what's it?
But look, there's 4.
4. 1 for me. 2 for me. Mummy doesn't eat muffins, so 2 for Daddy.
2 for me.
2 for Daddy, 1 for you, 1 for Luca.
1 for you. 1 and 2 for me and 1 for Luca.
What?
2 for Daddy.
All right then.
Can I have 2?
We'll talk about it.
About 2 for Mayo and 2 for Daddy. No? That wouldn't be fair, would it?
And
have a
Daddy,
No, what?
we can share 1 muffin.
Oh, that sounds good.
Aw.
That sounds good. Have a cuddle.
I can't do hard cuddles.
Give me a proper one then.
They have red cheeks.
Yeah. I think I'm
have
hot.
red cheeks.
You have a little red cheek, yeah.
Right, I love you. See you in a bizzle.
Which cheek is red?
That one.
I've seen it on there. I can't see myself.
See you in the morning. Bye-bye. Crocodile. Mini feed. Something's not going quite right with my stream today. I posted a video of PWSAS and the Mudsucker in the Discord a while back, did you? I might have seen it, I can't remember. Can you power pole synergy, etc. off gutters and stuff, by the way, and does it look as good as using the water fed pole brush to wash it off? Have the extra scrub. You know what I would do? What I suggest with cleaning gutters, faces, soffits. There's nothing quite like going in for. I haven't decided whether I want to do it first or second, but going in first with my TFR that I use, giving it a tickle. On the Gardener backpack, there's 2 settings. There's like setting number 2, which is full blast, all the flow. I think it's like 2.4 litres per minute or something. Or you can turn it down to number 1 and sort of adjust the flow right down. You can turn it right down. So I would turn the flow right down and have it literally just trickling out the end of the brush, and that way you use way less product. Brush in the TFR, give it a right good tickle. You don't need to go crazy scrubbing, just brush it, just agitate and apply the TFR. Leave it for about 3 or 4 minutes and then rinse it off with the power pole. And it's a very, very good, quick, effective, leaves a beautiful shiny gutter face of your soffit. I don't know whether that's more effective or doing the power pole first to get the majority of the debris off, get the majority of the sludge and the slime and stuff off, going in with the TFR and then doing a very light rinse afterwards. I don't know what's better. The first method is definitely quicker. The second method might be more effective. Spotless, maybe the clamps weren't tightened correctly, so the sections were loose. The suction noise you give out then shows me it's your first rodeo. Evening, Alex. Yeah, I know, Dino. I know. Look at AA Parts and Labour. They pay for injectors if they go. They are £500 each. AA pay for the injectors, really? Spotless, you go for the SLX all day long. That's intriguing. I'm not gonna spend another like 2 hours talking about water-fed poles this time because we covered that on the last stream. Evening Bees Knees, welcome. SLX 27 is the best value pole out there. Does anyone grease their ladder clamps? Because I've got some ladder clamps. I think I bought them from Screwfix. I'm sorry about my sniffliness as well. I've got these ladder clamps, right? and they're slowly, gradually getting more difficult to use every day. And Jakey reckons he's broke his thumb basically, playing rugby, but he's still been absolutely trooping on. But he found it really difficult to unhook these ladder clamps the other day, and I got up there thinking, oh, watch how it's done. And I struggled for like a good 3 or 4 minutes trying to get these ladder clamps off. And they're just, you push the button with one finger and you're trying to sort of do it with the other hand, and they're just getting worse and worse every day. So do you have to grease these? Is there any maintenance on these, or are they literally just going and I need to buy a new set? I've only had them like maybe 2 years. Hey Dan, welcome mate. You can't beat the SLX range. Sensor. That's a bold statement. She's a businesswoman. I know, I'm negotiating with a 4-year-old. Getting a few roof quotes in now, but could do with a new power pole. Only have a 24-foot one, and been doing bungalows easily, but best recommendations. I mean, I'm very happy with my gutter vacuum systems power pole, which I'll just briefly show you now. Oh, I'm struggling. So this is what I've got. I've got the 35 power pole with the water fed, with the trigger and the adapter kit. So it comes with everything you need in the box just to set it up and start washing roofs basically. Just need a little turbo nozzle to stick in the end, or a surface cleaner. I'm pleased with it. It's it's quite heavy, but I think it's no heavier than the other ones that are on the market. So it says here it's a 40-foot high pressure lightweight hose. Oh, okay. I mean, it's a 35-foot power pole, but I guess you get more than that, because that's not the working length, that's just the length of the, so it's probably more like 40 foot, I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Some other people might have different suggestions in the chat. I'm doing we've literally got a day of quotes coming up on Wednesday. I've got 6 or 7 quotes to get to. 3 of which are roof cleaning quotes. So things are definitely picking up. Let's do another poll, because I'm interested to know if the answers changed since last week. Oh, I'm signed into the wrong bloody account, aren't I? Bloody Nora. Switch account. On a serious note, I know it's rare from me. Thank you, Jake. This is from Craig. Wow, Craig's saying thank you. Let's just all take a moment and just focus in for a second. Thank you, Jake. I started my business up last June and have taken the full leap into this being my only way of income. And the reason I started my own business was not for the money, but was so I could spend more time with my little one. If I didn't find your YouTube channel, I'm not sure that I would have even started. Craig. That's very nice of you, mate. I love reading stuff like that, because it sort of makes me makes it sort of worth it. I was speaking to Rich the other day, and I love to see, like, I love watching people succeed, and sometimes you just need a little push in the right direction. And I didn't realise, not that this is easy, but I didn't realise how easy it was to start a business, and I thought I was a little bit trapped. particularly that I'd gone down the route of full-time work. I've got a mortgage, I've got kids, I've got a dog, I've got a family, and it's like I'm just sort of trapped now. I can't really, like, how can I start a business? Most business, you know, you read all these things about most businesses fail within the first 12 months, and you need to, your business won't make any money for the first 3 years, and you'll be investing money and losing money until the 3-year mark where you might start actually making a profit. But it's like, all that was bollocks. There hasn't been a point in this business where I haven't made money. Since day one, I've started making money and earning. And it's just baffling that it's such like a scary move. And that it's almost something that people lead you away from. Like in school, I was always told college, then university, and that's virtually the only route that you push towards. So the reason I started the channel is because I was like, oh my god, I did it, or I'm doing it, and it's sort of working so far. I want to let other people know about it. And so if you've got some value from the videos, I'm very very happy to be a part of that. Is work picking up? There we go, a little poll. See if it's any different from last week. Thank you, Craig, for taking the time to actually let me know. Very cute, very kind. Didn't expect it from you, to be honest. Normally telling me how rough I look, or how bad my hair looks, or how I smell, or, you know. I have the Gardner CLX27. Flat tiles, it's okay, but anything else is too heavy and clumsy. More pressure needed. Where did you get your rinse nozzle? I got mine from Pressure Washer Sales and Service. Hold that thought. I'll be back in a sec. I want to show you something. Now, these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit, on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have 2 other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night. Boring, at 5:30, come on. And then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do no one's interested. For real customers, and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Crack another beer. Thanks for watching. Back to the video. Boring. Right, anyway. She's terrified. Look. It's the fireworks. You've had enough, ain't you, Coda? She's had enough of the fireworks. It's been really winding her up. Oh no, me camera. I've messed it up. I might have to restart the stream. God damn it. I was going to show you something. I'm going to show you something really interesting then. You want to go out, girly? That's an unfortunate camera angle. God, it's absolute chaos tonight. Right, see if we can get this fixed. Deactivate. Activate, there we go. Am I good? Are we fixed? We're back. Right, sorry about that. So, I've got these rinse down nozzles. So these are the ones that Darren put together for me from PWS. So these were the ones that I was selling on the Sausage Fest. Quick release nozzles, straight into the end of your lance. And these are, I believe, they are 065. Sorry, 65 degree. What are they? I'll have to double check with Darren. But basically they're oversized nozzles so that they give you that water broom style. I've got a picture of what you can expect from these. And I'm selling these. So I've probably got about 10 left. And they're going to be 22 quid each. So if anyone wants one, send me a message and I'll be happy to post those out to you. Let me see if I've got a photo of what you can expect. Here we go. So it's that sort of spread. It's not super high pressure. There is still a little bit of pressure there, but it's mainly to get more water out the end of the lance. So they do push out a hell of a lot more water than like a standard nozzle would, because they're sort of over jetted for your machine. So you'll get through, you know, if you've got low water pressure and you're filling your water butt up or whatever you're using, this will get through it fairly quickly. But fantastic for rinsing down. And even if you want to do like windows or fascias and so, these are what I use to clean fascias and soffits with the power pole. Even if you want to rinse down some windows or some doors or a garage door or the fascias and soffits or whatever, you just turn the revs down on your machine and it's like much lower pressure, very soft on the windows and stuff. Really good for getting loads of water on the surface and just sort of flushing it through. So if anyone's interested. Oh God, absolute chaos. 22 quid, let me know. Right, let's end this. 52% of people say work is picking up. 48% of people say no, it isn't. Have faith. Keep pushing. Keep advertising. People are definitely in the market for gutter clearing, roof cleaning, and Christmas lights. I've seen a massive uptick in those three services. So if you're not advertising them, get on it and start promoting it. My mate Rich has just ordered 2,000 winter leaflets. So he's got all his winter services on there. And he's going to go out and just start targeting specific houses. LC Exterior, welcome. Jake, didn't you look at the WhatsApp the other day? Shane, you might have to send it again, mate. I get a hell of a lot of messages. Oh, I think might have just seen it actually. Hang on. Did you send me a message about an orange hammer a while ago? It's not downloading the content, and I think you sent me a link which isn't the link. I don't know, it's not coming through properly. Sorry, the media appears to be missing. I don't know. Not sure, mate, sorry. Recently asked a question in the doctor's aka Darren. Can you show the message? Maybe someone from the chat can help me find the part. Manny, let's have a look, mate. So you're after you want to put a teamer. Is it a teamer you're talking about when you say team? You want to put a quick release on the trigger. It needs to be double-ended. So have you got a teamer quick release? So have you already got a teamer on the end of a male on the end of your hose, or is it a female on the end of your hose? So this is what you're after, basically. You want this big boy. You want the big boy fitting. That one. I've got the male on the trigger, and then I've got the female on the hose. Have you got 2 females and you're looking for like a double male adapter, like 2 of them? You might have to just refresh my memory about it, mate, because oops. Would a Gardner or over 8 pole be better converted to a jet wash pole? That's a good question. Could you convert like an SLX to a high pressure pole? Has anyone done that? Yeah, Tracy, I remember when you mentioned that. I think that's wild. That is actually crazy. I got recognised the other day in KFC, which was very surreal as well. But Sid said it in one of his latest videos, is that he moved into this new unit and the neighbour like already knew who he was because he... Oh my god, I've just realised you've actually circled. You've put a big square around the bits that you want. I'm so sorry, I missed that. Is that just not an M22? Male to male. One of them Firkins. It would likely, like, yeah, it would be one of them, wouldn't it? M22. Providing it is actually an M22, because you can get all sorts of different threads. I don't understand why there's so many different ones. I don't know why everyone has to do it differently. Can we not just have one generic thread? I know BSP, isn't it British Standard? What does BSP stand for in plumbing? Oh, they don't want to tell me. British Standard Pipe. There we go. Knew it's something like that. Work has never slowed down for me, Craig says. Didn't have anything for 2 weeks and then 6 quotes done last week, getting 4. Nice. Damn, that's a good conversion rate. Evening, Liam, you okay? Can you share how much sodium hypochlorite you get per 100 square meters if you use the XJet M5? Sometimes when I open the valve full, I think I have a lot of flow, and I'm not sure if it's right. I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to be upfront and honest about that. Effie Movnik. Effie Movnik. I think I'm butchering that. But when it comes to using your XJet, do you have any proportioners in it? Because that will generally dictate how much you get out of a barrel. When you buy your XJet, I usually use I'm sorry, I'm going to be very sniffly and snotty. So here, take this one from Gutter Vacuum Systems. I would usually use... Which one do I use? I think it's either the grey one or the black one. Black. 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1. Yeah, so for around about 15 litres per minute, I would use the black one, because I'm always turning mine down anyway. You're sort of guessing, like depending on what rev range you're using. If you've got your... This chart only works if you're actually running at 15 litres per minute. A lot of the times you might run your XJet on much lower revs, so you might be running at something like 10 litres per minute instead, so you've got to account for that as well. I don't think XJets are perfect. You can't really, unless you've got it dialed in and maybe you've got a pressure gauge on your machine, and you've actually measured the amount of chemical coming through and timing it with a timer, and then measuring with a bucket or something. I don't know. It's very difficult to say exactly what you're going to get from the X-Jet, but generally, if you want about 1 to 5, which is mostly what you're going to use for pressure washing. I don't know what everyone else uses, but I'm roughly around about 1 to 5 for most surfaces. And then if I need to go stronger, I'll probably just go in neat with a pump sprayer. I won't bother adjusting I won't bother taking the proportioner out. Do you have them in blue? No, they're orange on purpose. I also have some nice little tap connectors, if anyone needs any of those. I'll have one. Dino, send me a message, mate, and I'll get one posted out to you. Send me a message with your full name, address, postcode, and I'll send you a link to payment. Is the power pole good for gutter cleans? Yeah, it's probably got too much on it. Like it's quite heavy if you're only using it for gutters, fascias, soffits, because you've got a lot of pole that you're not making use of, if you know what I mean. Still perfectly adequate, but your arms do get tired after a while. Carry on. Yeah, just send me a message, mate. Would the rinse down be okay for doing decking? Yeah, actually, I used it recently on oh bollocks. It does. The width of it will do a whole decking board. You can turn the pressure up quite high as well. You do use quite a lot of water with it, but if you turn the flow and the pressure up, you can get a whole decking board, the width of one, all in one go with one pass. It's very, very effective. So I cleaned this decking with the 65-degree nozzle, exact same one, and you can get the whole width of that in one pass. These ones had the weird grip tape on them, but this came up quite well with just water. Like you can still see a little tint, a hint of green. This was just water, and then we post treated it with biocide, with one of the I'm trying out the Green Clear Pro from Smart Seal. I don't know if you've seen this link here. Look, you can get 10% off at Smart Seal if you use my code. But I'm trying out the Green Clear Pro biocide. It's been great so far. Been using it on a couple of roofs, a couple of decking jobs, and yeah, still a little bit of green on this, but the biocide, it works within hours. I remember me and Jakey were doing a repointing job. I think I washed the decking first, biocided it, and then we started the repointing, and within a couple of hours the green had already gone off the decking. So the biocide had started working within a couple of hours. I was amazed. I thought it took days or weeks, but with wood, biocide works a hell of a lot quicker than with like surfaces and art. Wood is like super absorbent, and so it can get where it needs to get and start treating all that algae very quickly. It's different to like a roof where you've got like concrete tiles on a roof and there's thick chunks of like lichen and stuff that take months and months and months to start breaking down. I think Sid from Partridge Exterior did a really good breakdown on Facebook. I remember he did a post a while ago on one of the Facebook groups, and I wish I'd have screenshotted it because he listed the different types of lichen, like white, yellow, black, and then he said sort of how long you can expect biocide to break them down and for them to like fully disappear. It was a really useful post, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember. What do you think your conversion rate is for roof cleaning? Yeah, like Darren says, it's around about 10%. It's if you get 1 out of 10 quotes, like most people don't understand how much goes into cleaning a roof, and so most people, your average residential customer thinks, oh, he's only pressure washing it like he would be my back patio. It's probably a bit extra for like just to get up on the roof and stuff, because it's higher level. They don't understand how much extra actually goes into doing a roof clean, and so they're not prepared for the price tag that goes along with it. It'd be useful if you could know a customer's budget. I know it's never going to be a thing, but if you could get to know the customer's budget before you even bothered quoting, because most of the time they're expecting to spend maybe 300-400 quid. And when you hit them with a 1,200 quid quote, it's like, I've had a couple last week, and they've my mate just sent me a great thumbnail. You put all that time into quoting a roof, and as soon as they see the price, they're like not reading the rest of the message, and they're just not responding to you. So it's a total waste of your time. Gary, send me a message, mate. My power pole is an SLX 35. Really? How'd you get on with it, Daz? Is it like, do you find it stiff enough? Is it heavy duty enough? Like, I thought you needed some like crazy heavy duty pole. But if it's just like a carbon fibre water-fed pole with a conversion kit on it, then I suppose you can do it on anything, can't you? God. Any water-fed pole can turn into a power pole. Okay. Oh, this is another person, Tracy. This is the second person that you've met that watches my channel as well. That's crazy. Is it a 3/8 inch male to male? Is it? Oh, I don't know. I have an inquiry for a fire escape galvanized staircase. I'm very apprehensive to do it as it might take the galvanization off the metal. Any suggestions? Would you suggest a chemical for the metal? Neil, have you ever had that happen where you've pressure washed a surface and it's stripped the galvanization off it? Because I would have thought once a surface is galvanized, I'd have thought that was fairly good protection. Does anyone else know in the chat? It's a very good question. I've never even considered it. Can you pressure wash galvanized metal? Let's ask ChatGPT. In fact, can you pressure wash galvanized metal?
Yes, you can pressure wash galvanized metal, but it's important to do it carefully to avoid damaging the protective zinc coating. Here are some tips. Use a low pressure setting. Aim for a pressure below 1450 psi to minimize the risk of damaging the galvanized coating. Maintain a safe distance. Keep the nozzle at a safe distance from the surface to prevent direct, high-pressure impact. Rinse thoroughly. After cleaning, rinse the surface with clean water.
How much is 1450 psi in bar?
1450 psi is approximately equal to 99.974 bars.
Okay. So if you use under 100 bar, I mean, I suppose it depends what sort of nozzle you're using. I guess fan jet low pressure. I can't see you having an issue with galvanized metal, to be honest, mate. I go through about 10 litres of hypo per 100 metres squared. Yeah, I'd agree. That sounds about right with a black proportioner. Yeah, that sounds about what I'd get through as well. If you've got a real big drive, 100 metres and above, yeah, you're easily going through a decent amount of that barrel. I've used 20 litres on one job, you know, 150, 200 square metres, where it's just been like, I can't believe I've just used a whole barrel of hypo on this one driveway. But I like to do, I use it on most jobs now. So even if there's only a small area that's got black spots, I like to know that the surface is like fully sterile and like fully sanitized. Even if it's like an unnecessary use of product, I can then tell the customer the whole drive has been sanitized. Any organic growth that the pressure washer hasn't removed has been killed. And so this is going to last much longer than when the previous guy did it, because I'm just generally assuming that the previous guy hasn't used chemicals, because when I've spoken to most customers in the past, it's like they either haven't sanded it, so it's like, okay, they've just pressure washed it and took your money and ran away, or yeah, they didn't use any chemicals, they just pressure washed it with water. And so I'm just assuming that I'm sort of offering a more premium service, which is why I feel like I can charge a little bit more than your average Joe, I suppose. But I just like to know that the whole surface is like has been treated, because then we're starting from a blank slate. And if anything does grow back quickly, it's generally because there's either like a drainage issue or a severe, like lots of overhanging foliage and all that sort of stuff. Message anywhere, Paul. You can message me on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. My phone number is everywhere, so just type me into Google and you'll find me, mate. You want a tap connector. They're orange as well. And they've got this weird locking thing on them. Not sure if I'm going to be able to show you with this camera. Actually, oh, it's just a rubber guard. I thought this was like a locking mechanism, but it's like it's just a rubber. Oh, it's like a nice little rubber sleeve that goes on it, little firkin, and it's got the reducer as well. Yeah, it's just I'll be totally honest, I got them because they're orange. Oh, bollocks. Okay, Dino, no worries, mate. Green Clear Pro, is Darren happy about that? In fact, where is Darren? Did you green clear him? Has the Orange Army defeated the Green Army? I'll have to take that call another time. Yeah, so this is the one I'm talking about. So it's 36 quid, 37 quid for 5 litres. And the delivery works out quite cheap as well. And then you can use your 10% off with code SMELT. But it's good. It's I mean, I can't say that it's the best yet because I haven't got much experience with it, but it's been doing exactly what I want it to do. Thank you for your reply. I don't use any additional attachments. It's completely open. 4,300 psi, 4 gallons per minute, 14% concentration. So it's going down probably at around about 1 to 3. If it's totally open and you've got no proportioner in it, you can see with the proportioner chart. Let's take this one from AC Pressure Washers, which is very useful. So you can see from this chart here that if you just have it open, it's around about, for a 15 litre per minute machine. What's yours? I think yours is about 15. What's 4 gallons per minute in litres?
1 US gallon is approximately 3.78541 litres. Therefore, 4 gallons per minute is approximately 4 times 3.78541 equals 15.1416. 4 litres.
15 litres per minute. So 15 litres per minute, if you were to use that open, you're going to end up with it's around about a 50-50 ratio. So you're putting out just as much hypo pretty much as you are water. And if you're putting out a lot of water because you're not using any sort of nozzle on it and you're not reducing the flow or anything like that, you're gonna get through the hypo super quick. Almost a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's probably going to be extremely strong. You're going to be smelling it in the air. It's going to be melting your eyeballs. You don't need to use it that strong. So you need to put like a black proportioner in it. Or I'm not sure where you've got your X-Jet from, or whether it is actually the M5. But you do need to put some sort of proportioner in it. Or if you don't have any proportioners, then you need to pre-dilute your hypo. So I'd personally, if you want to aim for about 1 to 6, I would personally put 1 litre of hypo and 3 litres of water into a tub, and then you can fire that through your X-Jet with no proportioner in it, and it works out to around about 1 to 6. You could go a little bit stronger than that if you wanted to. You could dilute it 50-50, and you'd end up with more like 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 4.5 maybe. Is there any reason you don't have a proportioner in there? It would be good to be able to charge, say, £25 to prepare a roof cleaning quote. Yeah, Andrew, to be able to... My brother does it occasionally with project when he was a project manager at a haulage company. If they requested any like additional documents, he would charge them like an admin fee. Or if they requested, I think he said to me once, if like a school, it was in the terms somewhere, he'd put it in the terms and say, if you require purpose-made like RAMS documents, for example, there's a surcharge of like £15 or £20 or whatever, which I think is quite clever, because then it's like, are they going to go through? You're essentially charging them for the additional paperwork and the time it takes for you to put that together, which I think is good. I don't think you can get away with doing that to like a domestic customer. I don't know. Next time you're in my patch, let me know. You can have a play. A pressure washer won't take galv off. Yeah, I thought the same. Yes, you can pressure wash it. Pretty sure I found the part. I've put it in the Discord. Let's have a look. There you go. Just ordered it. Nice. Hydraulic male adapter. There you go. You've got it. You've got it. Daz has helped you. All sorted. Crisis averted. Can I have one of the orange jets? If you use brick acid on galvanized metal, it can turn white. There you go. Yeah, I remember using brick acid on a driveway clean that we did. We did like a builder's clean where they'd spilt all cement and stuff over the driveway. And I was using brick acid on the driveway, and I got it on one of the galvanized metal drain covers. You know, is it Alco drain covers? And that turned it sort of white. I thought, oh, we need to be careful with that. But it takes little things like that to happen before you. It's a learning thing, and some people come in and tell you like, oh no, you need to do all your research. That shouldn't happen if you did your proper training and all that sort of stuff. But no, actually, a lot of the times you learn these little things on the job, and that's perfectly okay. As long as you're doing everything you can to stay safe. You think there's an issue with some of the Spanish hypo? I mean, hypo, you'd expect to leave it down for around about 20 minutes. 20 to 40 minutes generally is the guidelines. And you do need to agitate it and keep it wet to stop it from sort of evaporating too quickly. Can we get a bit of a service chat? What you do to maintain on a daily basis, what you're looking for, and how often do you get a proper service done? I'm the wrong person to talk to about servicing your equipment because I'm not very good at it. I haven't, this is really bad, but I haven't serviced either machine since purchasing either machine. That's tell a lie. My equipped to clean 15 litre per minute Kiam pressure washer, I serviced that once. I replaced all the oils once. And my new one I haven't touched. The custom one that I got from H2O I haven't touched. The flat surface cleaners that you're supposed to grease up after every use, I was doing it religiously, like once a week. I wasn't doing it after every use, but once a week I'd grease them up, and I haven't greased either of those up for months. I do need to get back on it and start maintaining my stuff, because if you look after your equipment, it will look after you, and if you don't, things will start to go wrong very quickly, and I should know better. I should. I need a wee. I'm sorry. I'll be back in a sec. Now, these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels, we've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have two other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private... Right, enough of that. Anyway, now, this bloody post on Facebook is the epitome of what I think is wrong with the pressure washing community. And window cleaners. You're not getting off scot-free. Look at this. Anyone on here, laughing face emoji. So I believe this is one of our good friends, Connor, by the looks of the van and stuff. I haven't spoken to him about it, but this is clearly, and all the laughing emojis and stuff, 31 comments, mostly people just saying, oh, I think we know who it is, looks very familiar. And like, just general school, but you can almost read the name, like it's just schoolboy, just like, oh, he's in the group, and like, just message me, like, get over it. This is what's wrong with ex-employee. Crap me out. Oh, so it's not Connor, it's his ex-employee. Regardless, to put a photo like this up in a group, to me, there's nothing unsafe about what he's doing here. He's posted a comment on the post. Not Connor, he sold the van. But like, this post is designed to embarrass someone, and regardless of what your views are on health and safety and stuff, are we like a community, or are we trying to catch each other out and like point the finger and stuff? This is my whole issue with like just the bickering, and like there's just schoolboy mentality of just trying to get one over on each other. And Like, what are we trying to do? It just winds me up. Because, yeah, we've all seen pictures of people hanging off ladders or doing super dangerous stuff. But when it's like towing the line like this, I mean, yes, he stood on a roof pressure washing it, but put it into perspective, and like, he stood on a very shallow pitch roof and he's doing what looks to be a good job, and it's effective, and it's, I don't know what to say about it. It's just like, why post it? You're just trying to get a reaction from the community. It's for people to sit at home, point at the screen, and say, "Look at this idiot," and it's just pointless. You just bringing other people down, and it's posted in the group because he knows that Ollie's in the that Connor's in the group. Sold the van last week. Signage to come off tomorrow. The trouble is, people follow HSE guidelines, and we are competing with these people who aren't. There's bigger cost to do things properly. I totally understand. The issue is that what are the guidelines when it comes to working on a roof? Does anyone actually know? Or when does common sense take over? Because we all should follow HSE guidelines. Conrad, what are HSE guidelines with regards to working on a roof? Because it seems like it's a very unregulated. Not gonna lie, this is how I started. Ran roofs for over 3 years. There's people saying it'd be quicker from the ground, which it just wouldn't. Perfectly safe. Why would you want a scaffold tower on a walkable bungalow? Doing a grand job. Why would you want to do it from the ground? Much easier to do it from the roof. Guaranteed better job. Uncover broken and cracked tiles. You get broken and cracked tiles from... I mean, I've never broke or cracked a tile, but I saw it in Sid's video last week. There was some broken and cracked tiles already on the roof that he was going to replace for the customer anyway. And you assess the dangers. You assess the situation before going up there. I don't know, it just makes me mad. Just how quick people are to try and like embarrass other people. There's one about Sid a while. I've mentioned Sid like 3 times on this, but someone like took a picture of Sid's. I think he was working on some scaffolding or something. The building was wrapped with scaffolding, and someone took a picture of it and said, "I've just seen Sid from Partridge Exterior like being unsafe and whatever, and not wearing a hard hat or whatever the fuck it was that he was talking about." But it's like, what are you trying to do? Why are you posting it on a public forum? Why are you trying to embarrass the guy? We can all have a laugh and stuff occasionally about someone doing something absolutely insane, and I've done the same in the past. But when it's something like this, like, what is the goal? What are you trying to achieve? Just to get a few like reactions on your post. Working at heights training is a good place to start. You're right. Yep. Working at heights is anything above ground. Most incidents happen less than a metre off the ground. I don't know. Am I blowing this out of proportion, or maybe it doesn't make anyone else as emotional and amped up as it does me, but it pisses me off. What else is going on in pressure washing UK? It's the other thing about like someone just asking a simple question. Someone could do like a very quick and easy answer for them, but instead they just put some laughing emojis and just put something sarcastic, and it's like, where didn't we all start somewhere? There's a safe way to do that job. It involves a harness, ropes, etc. It may not be much of a pitch, but if you slip, you're going to slide off that roof. True. I agree with you. The HSE can stop at a place of work at any time. Harness with an anchor. The starting point would be giving advice, not taking the mick. My advice would be to work from a tower rather than walk on a roof. The main issue I've got with it, that I maybe didn't express very eloquently, is the amount of stuff that people probably do in their own line of work that isn't up to HSE standards. Yet they'll be the first person to take a picture of someone and post it on a group to get some reactions. It's like, well, look in the mirror. Are you doing everything exactly by the book? It's like throwing stones at glass houses. Is that the saying? We're good at sayings on here. Throwing stones at... yeah, look in the mirror, basically, is what I'm saying. We all do stuff that when you step back and think about it, it's like, maybe I could have done that better. Or maybe that wasn't totally safe. Or I'm not going to do it like that next time. Or I know I'm taking a risk here. And if anyone saw me, they'd probably think, oh, bloody hell, you shouldn't be doing that. We've all had those moments. And if you haven't, if you think you haven't, you're probably lying to yourself. And then, I don't know. Should we lighten up? Has anyone got any questions about pressure washing? Anything you want to talk about? God, look at the state of that. Fully working, needs new wheels, comes with a mini whirlaway. God, that has seen better days, hasn't it? Jesus Christ. Looks like it's been in a fire, but it's fully working. How does it get to that state? How does it get to the point where it looks like that? We've probably all cut corners in the past. Any advice on a starter pressure washer for around £1,000, preferably a Honda? You probably struggle to get a decent, the sort of Honda that you want for that price point. You're not going to get one powerful enough to run the pump that you want. I'd suggest maybe starting with Darren has started selling a machine for around about £1,000. It's a Hyundai. It's this one. 835 plus VAT for this Hyundai 15 litre per minute machine. And he does. The issue in the past has been with Hyundai machines that you sort of buy off Amazon or whatever, is that once they break, you can't get the parts for them, and no one will touch them, no one will service them for you. So you sort of you're just stuck with a broken machine, really, unless you want to sort of import some parts from China or whatever. Darren started selling these machines, and he can service them, and he has replacement parts for it. So for around about that price point, I'd go for something like this, and even better than that, I would go in and visit and ask him what sort of upgrades would you recommend for this machine. Rather than just buying it online and getting it delivered, I'd recommend ideally visiting and just saying, because there's all sorts of different hose connectors that, if you can get the upgraded hose connectors, if you can afford maybe like a better trigger or a better lance setup, Maybe even get him to put a pump on it that's got like a return to tank bypass. It's going to improve the longevity of the machine and all that sort of stuff. So this is a really, really good starting point. And if you can put some nice quality of life upgrades onto it, that's potentially, I mean, I've got no experience with this machine. I've never used this machine in my life, but the fact that Darren's selling it should suggest that, I mean, you got a little bit of reassurance there that he's selling it, I suppose. You fell 3 foot from a scaffold and shattered your ankle and lower leg. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm using ladders every single day, and I'm well aware that at any point, if I'm not paying attention, stuff can go seriously wrong. Would you ever want to get a boiler, Josh? Yes. At the moment, it's something that I'm avoiding just because of space. I'm carrying around with me 2 machines in the van, 2 tanks, a gutter vacuum, various brooms and barrels of chemicals and all sorts of stuff that I don't really want to sacrifice any more space for the sake of having steam. And so I'm putting it off until Jakey gets his own van, and then I think I will probably invest in some sort of steam cleaning set. I'm so sorry. Very gassy. He does the budget alpha machine now, 18 litre per minute Vanguard. Is it on the website? It's an alpha. The Bambino. It's not the Bambino, is it? It might not be on the website. He's doing like a smaller one of these sort of alpha units. I remember he was speaking about it last time he was on stream, but he's not. I know he's taking pre-orders for it, but I don't know if there's any photos of it. Your boiler's arriving this week. Nice. Nice. Although I haven't had it installed yet, it's a newbie. I've appreciated Darren's knowledge buying from him. Yeah, that's the other thing you get when you buy from Darren is all that knowledge and reassurance that you're buying the right product for the job that you want to do. If I want to go Honda, maybe a second-hand one would be the best route to go then. If you want to get a second-hand Honda, I'd recommend trying to find on the marketplace a 21-200. So if we look at the business packs from Pressure Washer Sales and Service, or the Mini Beast, the Beast, I think they've changed the names of these. So this is the sort of thing you'd be looking at. It's a GX390, that's the sort of engine that you want really, and that'll be mounted to a 21 litre 200 bar pump. So this one comes with a 15 250 or a 21 200. So most people would say go for the 21 200. Just the potential of more water flow basically is what you get in there. And this is the sort of setup that you'd be looking at. So it's a Honda GX390. And if you can find something similar to this on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatever, that would probably be the machine to go for, providing it's been well looked after. I mean, not like that one that we just saw, but something like this would be a good starting point. Either a 15 litre per minute or a 21 litre per minute Honda GX390 would be my recommendation, and probably a lot of other people's recommendations as well. Looking at that video, first thought was, I hope he doesn't break any tiles. It was a picture, not a video, but yeah. I'm working way before health and safety arrived. It's up to the individual, but for me, I wouldn't walk on the roof. We've walked on loads of roofs to scrape them, So a bungalow that we did recently, and I would argue for scraping a roof. Sorry, I need to sneeze. I'd argue that for scraping a roof, you can't get a result as good as you'd get if you were to stand on the roof. We weren't standing upright on this bungalow, but we were sort of walking on it like Spider-Man, on all fours, spreading our weight. We knew what type of tiles they were. We knew where the weak spots on the tiles were. It's in the bottom right corner where they overlap, and that's where you're going to get most of your breaks. So you stand further up towards the center of the tile, and don't just put all your weight and pressure onto one foot. You spread your weight across both hands, both feet, and you sort of just stay low. And as long as you understand the risks and you're happy with what you're doing, I don't see anything unsafe about that. I mean, I'm higher. I could be sort of at the bottom or the midway up this roof, and I'm higher if I'm to climb on top of my Mercedes Sprinter every day to take the ladders off in the first place. That is more risky to me. There's more chance of tripping over my little roof rails and roof bars, or sliding off the back of that rolling bar that you push the ladders down off the back of. I've got more chance of injuring myself on the roof of my Sprinter than I have on a roof like this. And I just think you've got to take each job and just look at it logically and do a risk assessment in your head and think, like, how am I going to approach this? What sort of tools are going to make the job, 1, safe, and 2, effective, and 3, give me the result for the customer? Because it's no good doing a job like this from a tower if it still looks rubbish at the end of it. The customer's paying a considerable amount of money for you to do this job, and if I think I can do a better job by walking on the roof and scraping it by hand, then that's what I'm going to do. I could have hired a tower and done this from like gutter height and used my extendable pole, but I just know the result's not going to be as good. And so you just got to assess each job as it comes and just make an informed decision. And as long as you're not going into it blindly and just assuming everything's going to be okay because you've seen other people do it, I don't know, it gets me riled up, it does. Because anytime someone on Facebook sees someone stood on a roof, they instantly think that person's incompetent, and it's just not the case. I was looking at the JCB 15 litre per minute machine. Yeah, Kieran, that's a virtually identical engine and pump as the like Darren says, as the Hyundai. Nice chilled music. Yeah, I've found another playlist. I had my first pressure hose blow on me 2 years into the job. Friday, it was part way through a job, so I had to go and find a new one. I've only had the only hose that's ever burst on me has been like the tail hose, the lead hose that goes from the high pressure reel into the machine, and it's because I bought a cheap one from Amazon. That's the only one that's ever burst on me. Do the nozzles get blocked up a lot, and do they clear easily when they do? I've never blocked a fan nozzle, so one of these sorts of nozzles, or like a 15 degree or 25 or a 40 degree nozzle on the end of a lance. I've never blocked one of those. I have blocked the occasional 25 degree nozzle in my surface cleaner, but that was mainly because my unloader valve disintegrated. So it's the same nozzles, there's just 2 of them going around in circles on the bottom of the surface cleaner. I've blocked a couple of those just because I've had little metal shards come from my unloader valve and get lodged in the back of them. Turbo nozzles can be prone to blocking if you're not filtering your water properly, or if you're getting too much silt and muck at the bottom of your buffer tank, or if you're not flushing out your hose before you start the job. So generally what we'll do is we'll turn on the machine and get the water flowing and pull the trigger with nothing in the end. We take the lance out, pull the trigger for like 5 seconds, let the water start coming through, and then we plug the lance in, because if there's any grit or anything that's settled in that hose, the last thing I want to do is plug the lance in and blast that grit into the bottom of the turbo nozzle. Turbo nozzle is extremely prone to blocking, and that'll be the main issue. If you get a turbo nozzle that's not rotating properly, or it's not, it's not spinning, or it's low pressure, or it just feels it's like vibrating too much, chances are if you strip it apart, you'll find like a little tiny piece of grit in there, or a little bit of sand or something, and it's either because you've stored it incorrectly, or you've drawn some water through your pump. You've drawn some like dirt through your pump or whatever. I think you're better off buying a lower spec new machine than a used high spec machine. Do you think, Steve? Lots of people recommend that you go for like a used Honda. You think you're better off buying a new, cheaper one? Buying new means you know when it's been serviced and looked after. A used machine can look nice, but the seals might be on the way out. Unloader might need replacing, etc. Might not have been regularly serviced. It's a very good point. Yeah, it is a good point. It depends how much value you put on having like a branded Honda engine, for example, or like a proper recognized pump. How much value do you put on that with a totally unknown history versus having like a new pressure washer that's got equally powerful parts, but that might not necessarily be built to a higher standard as that used machine? Like, how much value do you put on it? You are right. Like any of those two machines can go at any point. You could have problems with either one of those machines, but at least if you bought a new one, you know when it's due for a service. You know how well you've looked after it. Yeah, it depends. It's like buying a certain car. Some people will only buy BMWs or Mercedes because they're built by Germans, and it's like, how much emphasis do you put on that build quality? Even though the build quality of Mercedes has dropped massively off a cliff over the last 20 years. To be fair, sometimes as a window cleaner, doing those four-sided conservatories, you're forced to climb onto the roof to unblock the gutters on the roof. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you are forced to doing something that, you know, if someone saw you, you'd be labelled as like incompetent or unsafe or whatever. But you're doing what you can to get the customer the best result. And if you don't feel like you're putting yourself at risk, then as long as you've assessed the situation, you know what's involved, then sort of, in my opinion, crack on. It's different if you're an employer. If it was me and I got Jakey to go up and do something that I wouldn't personally do myself, and I know the risks, but I haven't told him, I've just been like, yeah, go up and sort that out, will you? That's irresponsible. I don't know. Some people do get into a habit of just doing stuff quickly, and like you just get it done because we need to get it done and go off to the next one. That can be more dangerous. Doing things fast in order to get to the next job can be way more dangerous than taking like a calculated risk. The customer won't pay you for your time off. I knew you were going to come back with something like that. As I was saying it, I was thinking that's a very valid argument. I understand. Is it every Monday that you're live? Yes. I don't think have I missed one? I think I might have missed one when I was on holiday. But I've pretty much done like 73 live streams in a row every single Monday night. Honestly, I was going to take tonight off because I'm feeling so rough. But we pushed through. No worries, Kieran. Can anyone identify this surface? Because I struggled earlier. Let me see if I can find the picture. Right, have a little peek at this. Because I think this is a curious one. Now, at first glance, this just looks like Indian sandstone, doesn't it? However, the keen-eyed amongst you might realise, actually, that looks a little bit thick for Indian sandstone. Those slabs look kind of chunky. Kind of thick. And it's like, what colour is it? What are we talking here? Because they looked in these cleaner patches, it looks a little bit too white to be that sort of grey Indian sandstone. And they look too flat. They look sort of honed. And then we go to the close-up. It's like, what the hell is going on here? What is that? Without me saying anything, can anyone identify this stone? Travertine. You missed one when you were in Devon. You are right. You're absolutely correct. I might look for a policy that covers me if I get injured or something, so I still get some income. I have done some sketchy shit over the years. I used to deal with them insurance. I used to deal with them in insurance. Can choose your weekly payout amount. Nobody wanted to see Devon anyway. What do you recommend for cleaning old green decking? It depends what condition the decking's in, but I'd recommend a wide, low pressure fan nozzle in constant strokes, so you don't want to stop pressure washing halfway through the panel, because you'll end up with like a harsh line where you've either stopped or started. So if you're going to start the pressure washer, you want to go from one end of the panel all the way to the other, and then a post treatment of biocide. And the likelihood is you'll pressure wash the decking and it'll still look sort of green afterwards. The biocide will get rid of any of the algae over the next couple of days, and it will look virtually new when it's done, unless it's painted. Painted decking is a pain. Looks like some sort of composite slab. Man-made slabs, do you think? Travertine. What is travertine? Travertine. Travertine slab. I've never heard of travertine before. Honed imperial travertine. What is travertine? Is it a type of what is travertine?
Travertine is a type of sedimentary rock that is formed by the chemical precipitation of calcium carbonate minerals from fresh water. It is often found around hot springs and in caves. Travertine is known for its beautiful colors and versatile applications. It is a popular choice for flooring, wall facades, and claddings. Some famous structures made of travertine include the Colosseum, the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, and the Getty Center. Travertine is a durable and long-lasting material. It is also relatively easy to maintain. However, it is important to note that travertine is a porous material, which means that it can be susceptible to staining. It is important to seal travertine before using it in any application, where it may come into contact with water.
So this, Matt, we were talking about this. It's a type of limestone, is it? Okay. So we were talking about this because I was thinking, in the honed limestone that I'd seen before, for example, this one that I posted afterwards, this one is honed limestone. And you can see that you've got some sort of channels and divots and stuff, but it looks like it's almost those little channels are almost full of what looks like some sort of what did I say? Some sort of like oh god, quartz, some sort of quartzy material. It's filled with like the gaps are filled with like a clear aggregate, and so when it's honed, it's just sort of honed flat. But in this one, there's these gaps and channels, but they're not filled with anything. They're just sort of holes, like air pockets or something. And looking at these travertine pictures, it's the same. It looks like just, oh god, it looks like it's just got holes and air pockets all over it. So I think you're absolutely right there. That's an absolute bang on identification. So travertine is limestone as well, is it? I thought it looked very limestoney. I don't want to download stuff, but yeah, that looks extremely similar. Cracking job, boys. I think we've nailed it. Who said travertine? Daz. I don't think it looks man-made. I think it looks very natural. Nougat. Hi Jake, started pressure washing this year as an add-on to my window cleaning business and it's been great. Have just priced up my first roof clean and has been accepted for just under $2,000. It feels great. Alex, congratulations, mate. How big we talking? What sort of roof are we talking? What about a post-treatment? For decking, you apply the biocide and just leave it on. Yeah. Oh, you could oil it. I think the best person to talk about with regards to... Tell you what I'll do is I'm going to link the chat that I had with Steve Shires. The audio, I'll be totally honest, the audio was pants. But we had a very good, productive chat with Steve Shires, who is like the decking guru, who will be able to tell you all about how to like properly clean, sand, treat, and oil decking. It's this 3-hour long podcast episode 2 months ago. I'll pop that in the chat for you. If you go on my lives section here, I think it's worth the listen. I think most people said they picked up quite a lot of good information from that one. Posted that in the chat for you. There you go, matey. He talks all about oiling and staining and all that sort of stuff. You'll think you've earned every single penny of that $2,000. Well done, though. Yes, yeah. Yeah, when you're midway through a roof clean, you think, God, did I charge enough? What is that app you've used instead of Siri? That's mint. It's Gemini, and it comes with the Google Pixel. Google Pixel 9 Pro comes with Gemini. The future is Android. What method have people found best to get customers when starting out? I was thinking flyers and getting Facebook website sorted. Personally, if I were you, my little nugget of advice would be avoid the website. You're going to be sinking time into a website when you have not a hell of a lot of knowledge, not very much content. It's going to be a very generic website just pulled from other people's examples. And for me, a website was more aimed at landing commercial work. And if you're just starting out, I would avoid commercial work for at least the first 6 to 12 months, I'd say, until you're comfortable with your equipment, until you know what to expect from things like water pressure, drainage, just doing like different surfaces like block paving, tarmac, patios. I'd get used to doing all that sort of stuff on residential properties before you look into commercial stuff. So I would say, and it's the same as what my friend Richard did when he first started his business a couple of months back. He literally got some good leaflets, he printed out some good flyers, and he went round in his local area, targeted the big properties with the big driveways, and very strategically put out those leaflets. And I think he was also knocking doors at the time as well, but he's got a background in sales, and so he's quite good at, I can imagine he'd be quite good at landing jobs. I think leaflets is a really good one. And set up your Facebook page early, set up your Instagram and Facebook, link the two together so you only have to post on the one and then it does the post on both. Make sure you tag your location in every single post. Take some good high quality before and after pictures and just start building up your portfolio. I would avoid a website at this point because you've got nothing to post on it. You've got no reviews either. So it's like, people are going to go to your website, look for reviews, and they're going to find nothing. Seems like a bit of a waste of time, in my opinion, in the early days. Facebook groups, don't advertise, just show your work. Yeah, that's a good point. Something I've been saying for a long time is people don't want to be fed adverts. People want to see something interesting. So if you can show them like a video or some really cool dramatic before and afters and just say, look, I'm in the area, does anyone need anything doing? They don't want to see like a flyer or an advert on their Facebook feed because they'll just go straight past it. If you can hook them with like a really simple reel, like a simple satisfying bit of pressure washing content with your location added in like in the reel settings so people can see where you're from, or it's targeted those people in that area, I think you'd get much more success with something like that. I still maintain people don't want to see adverts. We're in 2024. People are doing everything they can to avoid watching adverts. When the radio when Soph's listening to the radio in the car, in between songs, if there's adverts, I'll literally mute it until the adverts are done. Because I'm thinking, like, it's 2024. Why am I sat here listening to adverts when I could be doing? Well, I could be listening to a podcast. I could be listening to Spotify with my music on it and stuff. Why am I sat here spending my time listening to people shouting advertisements at me? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. If you can make it so that your content isn't an advert, it's just satisfying to watch. I think that's where content is going. The less you can make your content look like an advert, the more it will advertise your business for you. Travertine is terrestrial limestone. Limestone that's formed at sea. Ooh. Or you can get honed and filled travertine. Am I saying it right? Travertine? So they hone it and then fill in the gaps with some sort of... Did you see the post on Facebook a few weeks ago about someone discussing sanding decking, and then there were 2 comments about decking doesn't need sanding, as in block paving? Oh dear. Someone thought they were asking about actually brushing sand into decking after they'd cleaned it. That's terrible. See, we can all point and laugh and have a little bit of a joke, but that is proper dumb, innit? No job too big or small. Have you had a job that's been too small and you've had to decline? No, I don't think I'd ever decline a job that's too small, but this is where it's good to have like a minimum charge. I have a minimum charge for if I have to pull the pressure washer out for any reason at all. I have a minimum charge of £125, regardless of whether it's one slab or a small little path at the front of the house. I won't attend that job unless a customer's willing to pay £125, because it's just not worth it. Or you can say, look, I won't come out just for that, but do you need your gutters clearing? Do you need your windows cleaning? Have you got a conservatory that you need cleaning at the same time? Because then I can do you like a little bit of a package deal and I'll do it at the same time. But it's just not worth me visiting for anything less than £125. Hey Glenn, you're right, mate. Tracy did a leaflet drop and had mad response from it. There you go. If you've got a good solid leaflet with some nice before and after pictures and a clear phone number. Someone mentioned in the group chat, I think it might have been Steve or Craig, I can't remember, but your leaflet needs to have a bold heading that just shouts your service, pressure washing or roof cleaning or gutter clearing. Like, it can't just be Smelts exterior cleaning. it needs to sort of be a very specific target. It needs to be like almost like clickbait for like some sort of post, some sort of video or something. You need to grab their attention before they put it in the bin. You know what I mean? You want to get them with the first boldest bit. Is the DriveTech TFR that you use, and do you say it dries clear on Windows? You mean this stuff here? Here's one I made earlier. This stuff. I've got 8 of these sat in the kitchen, so if anyone needs some DriveTech TFR and they're local to the Redditch area, I can do you a very nice price on these. Very nice indeed. I'm not going to post it because it literally costs about 23 quid in postage alone. So now I understand why Pure Seal's postage is so high. If it's not in little 5-litre containers, as soon as it goes into one of them 25-litre barrels, the postage is absolutely astronomical. It does dry clear on Windows. What I generally do, dilute it at 1:7 like it says on the instructions, rub it into the windows, agitate it, don't leave it on for any more than about 3 or 4 minutes. If it's a hot day, even less, put it straight on, rinse it straight off with tap water, and it will leave a streak-free finish on Windows. Give or take 157 square meters, normally tiled, looks like Redland Regent type tile. Not fussed if I underpriced it, more of an experience for future. So Alex, when you say 157 square meters, are you taking into account the pitch? Because this is what I've been doing with my roofs. Let's take, there's an airport there, airfield. So what I've been doing with my roof cleans is, let's take some random roof. Can we get some good Google Street View here? Let's take number 12 here. Number 12, Maxwell Way. Where am I? So let's take this roof as an example. So that's quite a fairly steep pitch. Certainly not something I'd walk on. Virtually around about 45 degrees actually. So what I'd be doing when I quote this roof is I'd be measuring the whole roof. And I realised, by the way, I've been having some issues with Google Earth when I've been measuring roofs and stuff. It's not refreshing properly. It's not allowing me to do like multiple measurements. It keeps freezing on me. So you can right click on Google Maps, measure distance, and then just start clicking around the outside of the property. We should probably actually include, let's not include the conservatory. Might not need cleaning. So I'd do something like this, which leaves me with a total area of 182 square meters. What I'll then do is pull up the calc. Hang on, was that the calendar or the calculator? Okay. Pull up the calculator. So, what did I say? 182? Sorry, 82. So 82 square meters. And because of the pitch, when you fold that pitch into like a flat piece of paper, it's going to be about 1.5 times more the area. So you'll take your 82 square meters and times it by about 1.5. And if the pitch is shallower, you can times it by about 1.4 or 1.3. But I'd go with 82 times 1.5. And then 123 square meters. Let's round it up to 125 just so it's easier. And then you can times this by your price per square meter for like roof cleaning. 1.12 is almost flat. 1.12 for the pitch. No, I mean that 1.12 for the pitch would be like, if that was flat, 1.12 would be like that. Oh, you mean 1.2? So it's quite a very, it's a very shallow pitch, that is. I think 1.5 would be a 45-degree angle. Is that right? Would 1.5 be 45 degrees? Timesing it by 2 is like that. 1.5 is like that. 1 is like that. Is that right? So 125. My average price per roof per square meter is around about £8 per square meter. So it'd be about £1,000 for that roof. Does anyone have anything to say about that? Is that around about £1,000's worth of work for a roof like that? Because I think that's pretty bang on, that one. And if it's a bungalow, or if it's got easier access, I might go down to like £7.5 per square meter. We do 1.3 for average, 1.4 if it's steep. Okay, that's good insight. That's good to know. Yeah, it's around about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, maybe 1.4 on that one. Good to know what you guys do, though. Where's Matt? He was here. He was here a little while ago. Nice one, thanks. I was stressing over the website. Makes sense, great advice. No worries, Kieran. I mean, you might find that a website works wonders for you, and it gets you more residential work. But I think the benefit of having a website is showing potentially commercial customers that you're equipped to deal with like commercial jobs. And also the other point in having a website is so that you can run Google Ads. And if you're going to pay money to run Google Ads to direct people towards your website when you have virtually no content and no reviews, you're probably going to be wasting your money, in my opinion. How does one set up a business Facebook page? I think you'd go to your normal Facebook page, or use your normal Facebook profile, for example, and then I'm sure you can like create a page here. Page. Yeah, look, you make a page. I'm sure mine's a page that I've made, and then that will link it to your. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. So go on your normal Facebook account, and then you can press this button to create a page. You can create groups, adverts, events, whatever. Create a page, and then it will link to your. So you sign into your normal Facebook account, and then you have access to this page now, which you can start. You can get reviews, and you can get. It'll ask you what sort of page it is. Like, are you offering cleaning services, or are you, and then you can add your website in there and stuff, your phone number. But also, if you make an Instagram page using using the same Facebook login, it means if I post, you'll see, if you look at my Instagram and my Facebook, all the posts are exactly the same. It's because I upload my content to Instagram, and then it automatically uploads it to Facebook as well, which I think is quite powerful. I think that's like a really nice way of doing it. You think around about £1,000 about right? Is that £8 for pressure washing? What would you be for scraping? I think I'd be around about the same for both. Scraping, on one hand, it's much more difficult, but on the other hand, I think the customer's not getting an amazing result on the day. They might get the result in 12 months' time, and it might look just as good as if you'd have pressure washed it. Once you scrape it and apply the biocide and wait 12 months, it might look as good as if you pressure washed it on day one. But the customer's still got to wait 12 months to get those results. And I think in that case, scraping or pressure washing should cost around about the same. Yes, scraping is more effort, but pressure washing makes more mess, and it means more clean up time, you know what I mean? We're talking roof pitch, we are, mate, yeah. Just got a cup of tea. He was asking maths questions. So Matt, what I was saying was, if you've got you're trying to figure out the pitch of a roof like this, for example. It's around about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit less. If we've got a totally flat roof, that would be times in that square meterage by 1. That's just if you've measured 100 square meters, it's 100 square meters. As soon as you go up to 45 degrees, would that be you timesing it by 1.5? And then if you were to go even further and make it totally vertical, would that be you timesing it by 2? What I'm saying is that 1? Is that 1.4? Is that 1.5? And is that 2? Do you know what I mean? Where are we on the scale? That's what I'm asking. Matt is the right person to ask all these questions. And by the way, if you're not already joined, you can become a member and get access to the Discord, where you virtually got Matt available 24/7 to answer all of your wildest questions about pressure washing. He's virtually just on there constantly answering everyone's questions and doing his best to just be an absolute resource. We've got all these little we've got all these pages about how to identify certain stones, materials, chemical chat, if anyone's got any questions about applying chemical treatments, roof cleaning chat. It's a very good resource. We're all very active on there on a daily basis. I need to sneeze again. Flat is times by 1, or no change. 45 degrees would be 1.5. You would assume 2 is vertical. Oh, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. He is very available. Is he retired now, or is a merry band working for him? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Matt? I can't. I got called Matt GPT the other day. That's really good. You should change your name on Discord to Matt GPT. That's such a good idea. Reckon you could do a driveway quote run through as well. Been playing with the quoting tool you made, but would be really helpful to get an idea of the process. Yeah, sure. Should we do it together? Has this person got a good driveway that we can look at? So if you quote, I wouldn't recommend, if you're just starting out, I would not recommend quoting remotely. If you can get eyeballs on the driveway, and if you can get in front of the customer and meet them in person, I reckon that's going to do you so many more favours than if you were to try and do it remotely and just give them sort of like a rough price. When you visit, it means that you can, 1, sell your service, and you can show how professional you are, show that you've got uniform on, show that you're asking all the right questions, like, have you got an outdoor tap? Whereabouts is the water supply? What I tend to say as well is I don't take the waste away with me. So if you've got like a garden waste bin or a compost pile that you'd be happy for me to put the waste into, you're also going to want to check your drainage. So the 2 main things that you're going to want to look at when you're quoting a driveway is water pressure. So where's the tap? And when you turn it on, is it dribbling out or is it like gushing out? Have you got like decent pressure? Because that's going to change the job. If you've got low water pressure, you're going to be hanging around for a long time waiting for your buffer tank to fill up, or starving your machine of water, one or the other. The second thing you want to look at is where's the water going to go. So in this case, the driveway looks like it's ever so slightly sloping towards the road. So it's either going to end up in this drain. Where's the next one? Or that drain there. I don't know which direction this driveway is sloping. If you're visiting in person, you'll be able to see that very quickly. You'd hope that it goes into this one. but it looks like it's going in the other direction. Because the reason I say that is if you've got a block paved driveway like this one and you're washing down towards the road, you'll scoop up as much sand and muck as you can, but inevitably you're going to be rinsing all that sand down into the road, and any residue, are you going to leave it here, or are you going to wash it all the way down into that drain that's all the way down there? And like, this is a serious consideration, because this could turn a 2-hour job into a 3 or 4 hour job. Like, how thorough do you want to be? Because ideally you want to try and clean the road for the customer, because the last thing you want to do is have all the neighbours looking out at the grand job that you're doing on the driveway, but actually they're not going to call you because you've left the road a right mess. You know what I mean? So always look at where your water's going to go, especially on patios and stuff around the back, or a driveway that's sloping down towards the house. Like, is it going into a soakaway, or is it going into an actual drain? Because a soakaway probably isn't going to be adequate if you're putting 15 litres per minute of water down onto the drive. You might find that a soakaway floods very quickly. A patio, like has the patio got adequate drainage, for example? So once you've been round and spoke about all that sort of stuff with the customer, you don't want to scare them, by the way. Don't scare them into saying, oh, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna cost more because you've got poor drainage or whatever. Just make a mental note of all these things and just be very positive and be like, yeah, we can get this done for you. So what I tend to do is I've got my Mosher now. So if I'm going to visit quotes in person, I'm using my measuring tool, my Mosher, but obviously not everyone's going to have one of those. The next best thing you can do is either take a tape measure or like a measuring wheel with you, or you can use Google Maps. So let's do our best to measure this one. I reckon this one's going to be around about 50 square meters. I'm going to account for a little bit more down the side of the house here. Little pathway. Let's open these out a little bit. Oh, it's 60 square meters. I was going to say 55 as well. If I was to get rid of those, that I'm just interested as to what this is going to be. Oh, it's still 58 square meters. I was close. So let's go with 60 square meters for this driveway. Open smelt.club. By the way, I'm working on an app at the moment. So if you notice at the bottom here, Android Studio has been very active lately. So let's go with 60 square meters. It's got a recommended base price of like £3 per square meter, but you can instead of clicking on resanding and going through all this, if you're quite experienced, you might want to skip all this and just say, right, you might just say my price per square meter for block paving is £4 per square meter. So for that drive, I'd charge 240 quid, which includes pressure washing, chemically treating, and resanding on a dry day. Which for that driveway is pretty bang on, really. It's not a difficult job. Drainage looks good. Where were we? This side, isn't it? Yeah, it's a very straightforward driveway, that is. And the price doesn't necessarily go up if there's more weeds or if it's dirtier. It's all the same. It's just based on price. It takes you the same amount of time. If it's dirtier, it's better because you're going to get a better before and after photo. Now, if this was tarmac, I've got a different price per square meter. So you could go through all this and work out how many bags of sand as an estimate that you might need and how much it's going to cost you in sand and all that sort of stuff. And do you want to add some labour on for resanding? Because I'm a little bit more experienced now, I know that if I charge £4 per square meter for block paving, it's going to be around about right. For tarmac, I'm more at around about £3.50 per square meter, which also includes a biocide treatment after I've washed it. The benefit of using this tool is that if you've never done sealing before, for example, you can you can look on like Smart Seal, for example. Tarmac sealer. Oh, come on. I need another wee. So if I were to buy 20 litres of this, it's going to cost me 120 quid. So 120 quid divided by 20 litres is £6 per litre. So I can put my price in here. The cost of the sealer is going to be £6 per litre. The coverage on the website says it's around about 40 to 60 square metres for a 20 litre drum. So we can do 50, I think 50 divided by 20, which gives me a coverage of around about 2.5, which it goes further than that actually. If it's very porous and it's like the first coat, you might use a bit more. So I'd say maybe 3 litres per square metre. No, hang on. Sealer coverage per litre. 3 square metres per litre. Yeah, there we go. And I'm always going to do at least 2 coats. Do I want to add some labour? So £1.50 per square metre to apply some sealer, I think is quite reasonable. You might want to move that up or down, it's up to you. But this then gives you like a base price. It tells you roughly how much it's going to cost you in product. It's not going to account for delivery and admin. So some people say put 10% onto the cost of your product. So you might want to add like £6.60 on this, and that will give you the true cost. So going forward now, if you're quoting a tarmac sealing job, instead of going through this whole thing again and trying to figure out how much to charge, just look at this figure down here. If you do the job and you're happy with the price that you've charged, I think this is a little bit low personally. I reckon I'd be around about maybe even more than that. 60 square meters. I think I'm around about £10 or £12 per square meter for sealing tarmac. But you can play around with these figures and just see what you're happy with. It's important to like get a reference point. So do a job using this quoting tool and just put the price in. Make sure your materials are covered, and just think, when you've done that job, just think, was I happy with the amount of money I earned on that job? And if the answer is yes, well, you can use this figure at the bottom here, this price per square meter going forward, and you can say, now for any tarmac sealing job going forward, I know I need to charge at least £11.80 per square meter or £12 per square meter or whatever. So you don't need to do this for every single job, but if you're coming into, if you've got like a new job to quote, I'd put the details in here and just use it as a reference point. Like I've got a price list. So now that I've done a bunch of different jobs and different sealing jobs and stuff, I've got this price list now. So pattern and printed concrete sealing, £12 per square meter. Tarmac sealing, 12. Block paving with a water-based product like no nonsense screw fix sealer, about £9 per square meter. And I've got all these different prices for different types of services, just through experience and like using the quoting tool to think like, was that enough money for that job? And if it was, then just save it so that it's going to take you half the time next time to quote something similar. Hopefully that helps you. I don't know if it does. Maybe I just confuse things. I don't believe in working every day. I book a bunch of jobs, then take a bunch of time off. Quite nice, really. Work to live, not live to work. Oh, I like that. Do like that, Matt. Smout, now that winter is rolling out, we should look at finding time for the new calculators. I don't think you have seen the current one with the chemicals and X-jet adjusted. Ooh. So Matt has put a hell of a lot of time into making it's like a Google app, I suppose. It's like a Google Forms app or Google Sheets, I think. And it's like if you've got like jointing compound and you want to figure out how many tubs of jointing compound that you need, or if you've got like a 250 square meter job that you need to use hypo on, you think, well, okay, I'm going to use hypo around about 1 to 5. How much hypo do I need to buy for this job? And Matt's figured it all out so that it tells you exactly how much product you need. It's really clever. You take longer to recover that after that hard day's graft when you get older. Yeah, that's true. Looking forward to that being an app. Yeah, it's going to be less. It's not just going to be for. I think I'm limiting people's usage here by just having it being very specifically pressure washing. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I've got a very good system as to how you can consistently quote any job, and just use a repetitive structure. You can have a price per service and just quote any job, and it's going to be very good. Where do we find Matt's figures? Matt, have you got a link, mate? You'll have to send it to me first because it won't show up in the chat if you were to post it. But it's essentially my quoting tool on steroids. Like it's insane what he's done. It's very cool. Have you got a public version, Matt, that's ready to be released? God, I've got so many messages. Oh, how have I been going for 2.5 hours? Oh dear. What else is going on in the world of Facebook? I can't believe the window cleaners have given me the lurgy. I've been cursed. I've been thinking of a setup using my oh god, I can't even pull it up because I can't get on the website, but I've got a resin tank, Aqua Clean, I think Aqua Cleanse or Aqua Clean resin tank. It's on the Equip to Clean website basically. It's this thing, but I can't click on it. So I've been using this thing. I'm sorry that I'm burping. This is absolutely gross, but I'm not feeling myself. So I've been using this tank, and this is like a resin pure water tank. And provided that you're running the water through it at the recommended litres per minute, so this recommends around about 4 litres per minute for this size tank that I'm using, and you get very, very, very close to pure water, and so it's perfectly adequate for cleaning windows and stuff. I thought, if ever I'm going to offer things like solar panel cleaning or window cleaning or conservatories and stuff, if I wanted to make like a proper setup for it, I thought, well, I'm going to need another tank. I'm going to need like a specific pure water tank. But then, since I've started using this, and someone also might have sort of planted the idea in my head a while back, I can't remember who it might have been, but actually I can use my pressure washing buffer tank to, I'll have one outlet go into the pressure washer, and I'll just use that as normal, but then another outlet that I could draw using like a 12-volt pump, normal tap water through a filtration system that's maybe like bolted to the side of the tank. Like, what are they called? RO? Is it RO or ROI or something? What's it called? ROI. Something like that, I suppose. RO. So RO filter system. Because you see like 3 filters like this. So I'd imagine that you'd have your standard pressure washer tank, and then you'd bolt to the side of it something like that, that has a pump that draws the tap water through these, and then you get pure water out the other end, and you can constantly reverse osmosis. Thank you. So you can plug your hose reel into the customer's water supply and constantly fill up your buffer tank. You don't need to carry a full tank of pure water around with you. You can just maintain your tank on site. You could fill up your tank when you get on site like you do with pressure washing, but you just divert it and have a bypass going through one of these systems. My question is, would you put the 12-volt pump, and obviously it'd be like a beefier pump than you'd expect to see in like a gardener backpack, for example, because you're pushing it through 3 filters. I wonder if a gardener backpack pump would even push the water through these systems. My question is, would you put the pump before these filters next to the tank, so it's drawing water straight from the tank, it's going straight through the pump, and then it's being forced through these filters? Or would you put the pump after the filters and assume that it's already sort of primed, and you're drawing water rather than pushing water? You do it before, would you? Booster pump. Pump goes before. So you'd have pressure washer buffer tank, 12-volt pump, maybe like hooked up to a leisure battery or whatever. Maybe that could even be recharged by like a solar panel setup. And then that would push the water when it's turned on at whatever flow rate that you decide into like into a hose reel that feeds your water fed pole. And if it's got a pressure cutoff switch in the pump, you can just turn the tap on the end of your water fed pole and turn the flow off, just so you're not wasting any unnecessary water. I don't know why I hadn't thought about this before, but that seems like such a good idea rather than having 2 separate tanks. This is really like interesting to me, is that if you can make like a really good system. Has anyone got an example of a system that they've already got set up for both pressure washing and window cleaning using the same tank? I know that's quite a specific question, but I'm keen to see it. I'm sorry, I'm just going through everyone's messages. Tower Pro Clean says, based in Evesham, mate, have used your quoting tool in the past for pressure washing, realistic prices, and have gained work at fair price. Appreciate it. Do you plan to set one up for roof cleaning? In a word, yes. So the app that I'm making will enable you to do a very quick, easy roof cleaning quote. Yeah. Very cool that you've found it useful, by the way. Thank you. You can use a mobile water purifier. You don't need to store it. But because this triple filtration system is essentially what I'm using now, isn't it? With the resin tank, I suppose it's just more thorough, and it's got more of a chance of getting the water down. It's got more of a chance of getting the parts per million down. Is that right? Because it's going through 3. Are they 3 different filters? I'm guessing they are 3 different. They're filtering different parts of the water rather than. Maybe they're not. Maybe I'm wrong. If you double DI using reverse osmosis / DI, it'll be 0. If you double DI, most window cleaners make the pure as they work, who make their own water. So the window cleaners that make their own water, it's done as they're working, rather than having like an IBC at home with like a pure water filter hooked up to another IBC that they then like fill up a tank with or whatever. So they're making it on the go rather than making it at home and then taking it out with them. Macintosh used one when he started. He didn't have a tank. Oh, I've knocked my rum over. So you can use pure water up to 0.007, and that Dauntless, what that will give you like a streak free finish on Windows. Anything up to 0.07. It takes too long to fill on site. What do you mean it takes too long to fill? So if you were trying to push water through 3 of those filters, it would take too long for that water to eventually come through. How long are we talking? RO, reverse osmosis, needs to drain, and you only get about 20 to 30% of the water from it. You would be better doing a double DI. What does DI stand for? DI filter. Double. Is that what I've got at the moment, the resin filter? Oh god, I'm so sniffly and bunged up. See, these look virtually the same to me. I don't know what's different about that, but it's not reverse osmosis. It's, see, there's a video there. RO versus double DI. So I need a double DI, do I? That was more what I had in mind, something that looks a little bit like this. I'm sorry, I need to go to the toilet again. I'll literally be 30 seconds. I'm the fastest weir in the West. BRB. Is anyone still here? The other thing I want to know, I'll get to your comments in a minute. If I wanted to then go from the pump, the tank to the pump to the double DI to like a 8mm hose on a reel. Say I wanted like 40 or 50 meters on that reel. How beefy of a pump do I need? Because I think this is when Jakey gets his van. I think this will be the sort of setup that I'm going to put in there. It's going to be a pressure washer with a buffer tank with something like this on the side, just in case we do end up going into like some serious solar panel cleaning and stuff. You want the water to be pushed through. Need a booster pump to produce purified water quicker. A booster pump. Using the RI system, you get 70% loss and 30% good pure water. What do you mean by that? Because I've just seen another comment about you get a lot of waste. What do you mean? Is it like you literally put 100 litres of water into it, but you only get out 30 litres of usable water. And does it separate it, or like how does that work? I'm sure I could watch a video on it, but I'd rather have the conversation, you know what I mean? What time does the live start? I'll be back Monday. It starts 7:30 every Monday night. Unga Hydro Power, Google it. Unga Hydro Power. Oh, I've seen these. I think Screwfix sell these, don't they? Window cleaning warehouse. Purify water quickly in this DI filter. Ready to use resin packs. I mean, that's virtually the same as... That's the same as what I'm using, isn't it? The one that I've got from Equip to Clean. Seems like the same sort of thing, just more expensive. I've got an integrated TDS monitor. That's pretty class. Glass fiber and polypropylene housing. Yeah, I mean, that seems fairly similar to what I've got at the moment. Same sort of thing, innit? Darren at PWS sells the pump. Need an electric for the pump. There's no waste. We're getting a bit confused here. You might need a pump after to push through a hose reel. Oh, okay, after the filter. Carbon sediment RO. I thought of it, but if you fill the tank with normal water one day for pressure washing, then the next day you do windows, you need to filter the water. The water you filter would be mixed with normal water. Yeah, so the reason I want to pass it through a filter straight out of the water-fed pole is so that I'm not either recirculating it back into a tank that's going to be used for pressure washing, or that I have to circulate it and store it into a different tank. I'm literally filtering it as I'm using it, and it's coming straight out of the pole. That's the idea. That's what I want. Hish, welcome. Thank you. DI equals resin. Okay. A good idea is to use rainwater and filter that through resin. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have some sort of setup at home, I suppose, wouldn't you, for the rainwater? Or have something, have like a funnel in the top of your van catching rainwater. I don't know how viable that is. I have my van, you've seen it at the fest, which is all fancy reverse osmosis to tank, then tank to RO/DI into pump. Then I've got an old van with a water to tank pump. Then, dear. So that sounds like a lot of work. I could literally go take a video of everything you're talking about working as I have it. Dauntless, whereabouts are you based? Are you in Worcester? You're not in Worcester, are you? Have a look at the filter I bought from Equip to Clean. 20 quid. Is it one of those inline filters? The little inline jobbies. Yeah, bought this the other day. Don't do many windows. Yeah, I saw one of these, and I think that's virtually what I've got as well. But I've just got like a bigger tank, and the resin's going to last longer. Like, this is like a disposable unit, isn't it? Whereas mine, I think I replace the resin every time every time it stops filtering as good. You need to charge your phone, by the way. But yeah, similar sort of thing, I think, by the looks of it. Just join the chat. I thought Smelt hated window cleaning. Are you window cleaning now? I still maintain. Right, we did a bunch of windows on this school the other day. I'll show you. We must have cleaned about 150 windows on this school the other day. And when I say we, I mean Jakey. Because I went round and did... Oh, by the way... How good is that? I did the gutters, fascias, soffits, and Jakey went round and cleaned all the windows. And we were running this straight from the customer's tap through the resin tank filter, straight onto the glass, and it was producing some really good streak-free bead, you know. It was producing good results, basically. To be fair, I think we did more than 150 windows, because looking at that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We did a hell of a lot of windows anyway. We went around, did all the gutters, all the fascias and soffits, the windows up on the roof we did. It was a hell of a lot of work. And it took us about a day and a half. And this is just like a generic picture, I suppose. You can't quite tell how good they were from this photo, because even if they were bad, this photo would probably still look good. But as part of like bigger projects, they got in touch because they wanted the gutters clearing. As I was walking around, I suggested, like, by the way, we also offer the fascias and soffits. I can see your downpipes are like green, so do you want your downpipes cleaning? And they said, do you do windows as well? And at that point, it's like, you can't really say no. Like, yes, we can do windows. It's not a service that I offer regularly, but it's one of them things where they'll only have it done either once a year or once every 6 months. They don't have a regular window cleaner, so I'm happy to do it once a year. I'm not going to come around every 6 weeks and do it, but it's just nice to have the option to use pure water, and especially if it's not taking up any more space in the van, if I don't have to go and make any specific journey to go and get some pure water. Like, I still maintain it's a boring job and it's thankless, nobody cares, and I mean, we charged a pretty decent amount for it. I was happy with the sort of money that we made on this job for the amount of time we spent on it. But by the end of it, Jakey was like, I never want to look at a window again. It's a lot of work for a job that's a little bit boring. I mean, look at the state of these downpipes, all the cobwebs and stuff. It was just insane. So this downpipe was blocked. This was like 50% of the downpipes on this building were blocked with either like a ball, like a tennis ball or like a football or something thrown up into the gully, or just blocked with sludge. And that was causing the water to drip down the outside and just turn it into like pure algae fest. And it's causing damp on the wall as well. I did offer to apply some biocide onto this wall. But like, this is just pure water that we use on these. It come up really nice and shiny with just pure water, which I was really surprised with. Quite pleased with that. All the way around, like, there wasn't one real bad stain anywhere. Like you normally get with residential properties, you'll normally get like some dark black staining or some rust marks or whatever. On this, it was like spotless all the way around, which I was really happy with. But yeah, as a rule, I don't offer regular window cleans, but I'll do like a one-off big project if it's just like once every 6 months or whatever. It took 37 seconds. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for timing me. Fastest pisser in the West. For the amount you use, a double DI would probably suit you best. RO DI is better to save money in the long run for most usage. Yeah, that'd be good, Dauntless, if you don't mind. 100 in, 30 out. Which is any good? It's a filter. It filters and loses a percentage. But where does that percentage go? You must have like waste water coming out somewhere. It doesn't just disappear. The RO splits the water pure one way and waste the other. Oh, okay. Thank you, Paul. That makes sense. I didn't know that's how it worked. But it's portable and you don't need a tank. Depending on your system and the usage of your RO, you will have different amounts of wastewater, but yes, standard system without a booster is pretty slow. about an hour for 100 to 150 litres. I'm more interested in having something that works straight out the trigger rather than having to wait around and like make water. I'd rather just have it come out, even if it's not pure as pure can be. I'd rather it give me satisfactory results that I can just plug in and start at any point rather than having to mess about if it's not like a regular service that I offer. Do you know what I mean? The resin will last far longer using rainwater. I'm in Cornwall, but coming to Stafford soon to get my system fitted by Darren. I'll come and help you if you like. Give me something to do while I'm waiting. I'm actually about an hour away from Stafford. I can't believe you used a car cleaning brush. So the story behind this was, it was around about 4 o'clock the day before, and I thought, I couldn't believe how quickly we got the gutters cleared, because the gutters weren't actually as bad as we expected them to be. The plan in my head was one of us on the gutters, one of us on the windows, faces and soffits, and then instead we decided to both clear the gutters together. And I thought, what's Jakey going to do, or what am I going to do if one of us has got the water fed pole and the other one's not going to have anything to do? And I thought, well, if I can get hold of all the windows are low level, so there's no extension needed, it's just going to be low level window cleaning. I wonder if I can find like a cheap water fed pole that I can get literally tonight, rather than having to order something online and wait for it. Like, I'm going to buy a proper water fed pole, so we've got two. But this was actually perfect. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. It meant that I can use a splitter from the filter tank, and Jakey could plug into it with this car cleaning pole, and I could plug into it and use the normal water fed pole that we've got. It worked great. When you say you can't believe I used a car cleaning brush, I was genuinely quite impressed. Like, is it a bad thing? Is it a bad thing that we used this? Because it did what we wanted it to do. It cleaned the windows, and it had all the attachments that we needed, and it extended plenty far enough for what we needed. Like, is that a bad look, posting that on Facebook? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you ever use fairy or anything with that setup? What do you mean, Kieran? What do you mean fairy? I've been looking into the same thing for my trailer build. I'm going to spin down filler water into my pressure washer tank, then 12 volt pump into a 3-stage filter, micron and carbon, and then double DI. See, that all just makes no sense to me. I know what you're saying. Micron and carbon, then double DI. I didn't know you could get more than one filter for water. I thought you filter water and that's it. But apparently you need a micron filter, a carbon filter, and a DI filter. This is why I haven't really looked into window cleaning that much. It's because it just seems like a whole new body of knowledge that I'm just not prepared for just yet. Like, I've got enough going on with pressure washing and stuff. The stuff I need to buy for pressure washing to maintain and like keep my equipment running. Like, I replaced my needle valve today because my needle valve started leaking. That was like cheap. That was like 85 quid. It should have been more expensive. I got a new surface cleaner for roof cleaning. I got a bloody mud sucker, just because we ran into that issue with the flood the other day. And it's like, I've got enough going on with pressure washing, let alone having to add all this extra equipment and this extra body of knowledge that I need to learn before I can start doing these jobs properly. There's so much to learn, isn't there? It's constant. So much to buy, so much to learn. so much to go wrong. Like, do we want to keep expanding and adding more and more services on? You know what I'm saying? Do by hand for one-off jobs like that. You would do that whole school by hand, like traditionally, would you? Guys, clip it boring and thankless. I am getting through your messages. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. His member of staff wouldn't be able to trad effectively and would take way longer. It's not a skill worth learning unless you use it constantly. Yeah, I've tried traditional window cleaning with a bucket and soap and a squeegee and stuff on my own property, and like I can see that it's a skill that I don't have time to master for something that I don't offer very regularly. And so there's no way I'm going to give that to Jakey and expect him to do the same as well. It's much easier for us to just get a pure water tank, or like a resin tank, and just use a brush, like a water-fed pole. Double DI would work fine for you. Thanks, Paul. I'll look into it, mate. You only need a booster if you're filling a tank with pure. You don't need a booster for turning water into pure as you're using it. How do you harness the rainwater? Yeah, I'm interested in that as well. Have you found your work days are more enjoyable now that you've got someone working with you? Or do you prefer working solo? I was talking to Jakey about it today. We did like a little performance review today. Actually, I have done performance reviews when I used to work at Aldi and stuff, but this is like Jakey's 4 months in now, and so I just wanted to let him know how I thought he was getting on, and it was like, 95% of it was absolutely spot on. It was brilliant. I'm so happy and impressed with how quickly he's learned everything, and I feel grateful that he's he's broke his thumb. He thinks he's broke his thumb, and he's going to A&E in the morning, and it hasn't affected the work he's been doing. He's been coming in. He's not had any time off, and he's been coming in. He hasn't asked for light duties or anything. He's just been cracking on. And the sort of jobs that we're doing, it's very much like today we were resanding, pushing a broom around on a big driveway, or pressure washing, or using a water-fed pole, or using vacuum poles and stuff. It's all stuff that you're doing with your thumb. And he's said it hurts, but he hasn't complained once about, like, he hasn't slowed down at all. I'm just thinking, like, you don't get people like that anymore that just crack on and don't. He's not asking for special treatment or anything. I don't know whether that comes from like being a rugby player or what, but he's smashing it, and I feel so grateful. He's not had a day off. It's just brilliant. And so I was chatting to him today and just saying, like, I underestimated when my brother said to me a while ago, you need to get a labourer because it's going to speed up the work. I'm like, well, it's not. If I haven't got like a second machine, which I have, if I didn't have a second machine, all this person's going to be doing is standing around pushing a broom every so often and scooping up some waste and like maybe packing up the van and tidying stuff up and things while I'm talking to the customer. And I thought, this isn't going to save me any time. I can do all that sort of stuff myself. Alright, it might save me 5 minutes a day, but like, what's the point? Why am I going to pay this person and do the same amount of work, saving 5 minutes a day? But I'm absolutely shocked at how much. It's not just the time he's saving me by. I get out the van and start chatting to the customer, and he knows what job we're doing, so he's already pulling all the equipment out of the van. He's setting it up. At the end of the job, he's breaking everything down, cleaning it through, packing it back into the van, and organising the van for me while I'm chatting to the customer and getting my other stuff done. And like, he's just. That alone, the amount of energy that saves me, and not just the time aspect, but the amount of energy that saves on my body every day that he's just taking care of it unprompted. I haven't even asked him to do it. He gets on with it. It's amazing, and I didn't expect it to make such a difference. But the fact that now, actually when he started, he's already got his own pressure washer, and we're doubling up on these jobs, and we've got 2 pressure washers on these jobs, or one of us is doing the drive. Like today, one of us was doing the resanding while the other one was clearing the gutters, or cleaning the gutters or whatever. We're literally doing, I would say we're literally doing double the amount of work that I'd be able to do on my own, which I didn't expect. I thought maybe we've got 2 machines, we'll probably cut the job time down by maybe 20%, 25%. I still probably won't be able to book any more work in for that day. We'd just get it done a little bit quicker, and it'd be a little bit easier for 2 of us. But actually, I'm probably booking in twice as much work and getting through more than twice as much work as I'd normally be able to do on my own. And so for the amount of money that I'm paying him, it's he's paying for himself 2 or 3-fold, and he's enjoying it as well. Like we had a chat today, and he's enjoying the work. He's enjoying the work-life balance compared to what he had at Aldi. He's working all the hours under the sun at Aldi, doing like evening shifts from like 12 till 10 in the afternoon and the evening and stuff. It's like you've got no work-life balance, can't organise anything outside of work. You're working all weekends and stuff, and it's just like he said today, like he's so much happier doing this, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep increasing his wage the more and more that I can get him to be. The more and more he learns, and the more independent that I can get him to be, and sending him out on his own jobs with his own van and stuff, the more money I can afford to pay him. It's fantastic. I didn't expect it, and that's not to say that. It's not to say that I'd want 5 or 6 or 10 of him. I wouldn't really want any more staff, because it's a lot of it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of additional training. It's a lot more potential to go wrong. But certainly when it's just me and him, when I can be there and I can teach him stuff, and I can sort of correct when things could be improved and all that sort of stuff, I think it's a great dynamic. It's different to sort of training someone for a couple of weeks and just sending them out on their own, and then getting the next guy, sending him out on his own. I said to him today, like if when he gets his own van, I don't necessarily like the idea of just sending him out on his own jobs, because then he slows down. It's like we've got used to the work rate because there's 2 of us helping each other, getting through the jobs twice as quick. If I send him out on his own, it's then just one of him. And it'll probably be quite disheartening only being able to like get through maybe 1 big drive a day before you're absolutely knackered and wet and like exhausted by the end of the shift. And it's like, oh, we used to do 2 of these a day when it was 2 of us. So I think what I'd like to do is get Jakey to the point where he's able to be like a team leader, and he has like another labourer under him that he can pass on his skills and knowledge to, and then they can make a duo, and that would free me up to do all the video editing and the admin and the filming and stuff. I feel like that's the direction that I'd like to go. God, that was a tangent, wasn't it? Hope that answered your question, Kieran. How have you got into boosters? He wants it for the odd job here and there. Yeah. I don't want to get too technical with it. He means fairy liquid. I mean fairy liquid on... Oh, I've lost the message. Scroll back up. I mean fairy liquid on the windows or fascias, but as you said, you just went with the pure water. Cool that it gets those results without soap or anything. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you can get away with just water. the reason I wanted to use pure water on them is because if I sort of splashed it onto the windows, I could just rinse it off with pure water. I'm not rinsing tap water onto the windows. And pure water seems on gutters and on PVC, pure water seems to leave even the PVC looking shiny, which I didn't expect. I thought it would look the same as it did if you washed it with tap water, but it doesn't. It looks even shinier. Similarly, as if I'd have used this TFR on it, it really does make it shine up nice. Single DI is fine. You need to do one test. You need to test the water from your tap with the TDS meter. Yeah, I use a TDS meter. I get the baseline from the customer's tap, and then I get what it's producing through the end of the water fed bowl. The resin won't last long if it's 300 parts per million. Yeah, it's going to be different wherever you go, isn't it, I suppose? But I try to only work local, so it's always generally, is it right that if you're, say, I live in Redditch and I work generally in and around Redditch, do we assume that the parts per million are going to be around about the same throughout Redditch, throughout my town? Is it always going to be roughly around about the same? Whereas if I was then to go into Birmingham, or if I go up north, it's going to change. Like, does it change from town to town or postcode to postcode? Do you know what I mean? Double DI would last single would burn crazy fast. You'd only change one at a time, not both. I'm mainly thinking, the setup that I'm thinking about is mainly going to be for solar panel cleaning, and just have the option just in case I have to do windows or conservatories here and there. It's just like a nice to have more than anything. I have 3 big tanks which gather the water for the garage roofs, about 550 litres. So you're gathering rainwater at home. That's crazy. I wonder how much space that takes up. 300 parts per million into the first DI vessel, then goes down to 10 in the second, and then goes to 0. When the second one burns out, your water creeps up. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you have to replace the resin every so often and stuff. Matt can word it better. Sounds like he's taken a weight off your shoulders. He definitely has. Yeah, absolutely. Also, workers are crazy hard workers. I don't know what that means. Oh, Aldi workers are crazy hard workers. Yeah, I mean, particularly people that used to work in Aldi back in the day. Aldi was one of my first jobs, and I remember how it used to be, and it was pretty cutthroat. Now they're just sort of employing anyone, and they're employing people just to sit on the tills all day, which is crazy to me, considering we only had like a team of maybe 7 or 8 people, and all those 7 or 8 people could do every single job in the store. And now they're employing people literally just to sit on a till, and they can't go off and do anything else because they've only been trained on the till, which seems bonkers to me. We used to run around like headless chickens. You're finding Ionics resin to be clear above others. So you're testing different types of resin, and you're finding like a specific resin supplier that's better than others. If you have clear tanks, the color changing resin is handy. Ooh, there's color changing resin. So you can see when the resin's degraded and like when it needs changing. That's cool. That's actually something I'd like to look into, actually. Color changing resin, DI resin. Oh, look at that. Is that what you're talking about? So which one's good and which one's bad? Resins are cation, anion, and mixed right to left. TDS, having TDS creep. Oh god, they've got terms for all this stuff. God, like I say, this is like a whole new body of knowledge that I've just never even looked into. It's called TDS creep. There's all these little acronyms: ATO, BRS, RODI, TDS. Like, how many more acronyms do you want in one paragraph? I just don't have time to learn all this sort of stuff. It's crazy to me. This would be useful to know. It changes colour when it's time to replace. Stop. Colour changing indicates when it's time to replace your media. When exhausted, aqua DI mixed bed ion exchange green resin changes to amber, leaving out the guesswork. So yeah, something like that would be very useful. Some window cleaning guy did a YouTube video. I think I saw the thumbnail of that. He had a mental breakdown. He's gone back to going solo. I think I saw a thumbnail. I never clicked on the video, but I think it probably might have been the same one. If you want to save as much as possible on resin, then go for a full RO system. I don't necessarily want to save money. I just want it to... I want the easiest to set up. I don't know what I want. Interesting insight, glad it's working out for you. I'll be your window cleaning expert, then you can tell me all about pressure washing. I'm in the same boat as Jake. I just need to clean windows after pressure washing, etc. I'm not planning on offering window cleans. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just something quickly that I can pull out and get going and produce adequate results. Like, I'm not too worried about whether it's 0 parts per million. I just want it to be streak free. Your TDS at home was 280. Cornwall can change based on street. It's wild, but in general mostly similar, within the odd half being really high. Parts per million should be around the same in the same area. How did you meet your employee? Our best friends. So Sophie's best friend. It's her little brother, and she sort of said to me, like, he's looking for another job because he's not very happy at Aldi because the work-life balance isn't quite right, and he's just sort of fed up of the expectations and what they're asking him to do and the hours they're asking him to work and the lack of staff and all that sort of stuff. So I said, well, my brother had been telling me to employ someone for a while, and I just sort of said, like, I can't offer him amazing pay, I can't offer him guaranteed amazing hours. And then actually when I did the figures, and it was like peak summer, very busy, I thought, you know what, I think I can actually offer him like a minimum 30-hour contract and give him a bit of security. And yeah, just did the maths and figured out how much I could pay him. TDS meter is 20 quid. Why have resin change colour? That's true. I mean, how much extra does that resin cost that changes colour? And then you need like clear filters to be able to actually see the resin change colour. Yeah, you are right. So you might find that a TDS meter, just measuring it every so often, is more effective. Buy the water. I don't have a pure water filling station near me. There literally isn't one within about... I think the closest one is about 25 minutes away, which isn't really close enough for me. I don't want to make that sort of journey. Fill up a load of barrels and then I've got to store the barrels and like carry them around with me. And what if I run out halfway through a job? Like, it's just not even worth thinking about. I could fill up 250 litres of pure water, start working on that school, run out like 3/4 of the way through, and then I've got to go and fill up again. It's just time. Just can't be bothered. There's no spotless water stations near me. Not super local anyway. I'm gonna go. Been here for about 3 hours, just over 3 hours. Thank you so much for watching. I think we had a good chat, didn't we? If anyone wants these rinse down nozzle, oh bollocks! If anyone wants these rinse down nozzles, these water brooms, I've got these baddies here for rinsing down your pressure washing jobs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I've actually got 15. They're 22 quid each. So let me know if you want one of those. And I can't believe you guys watch this. This is crazy to me that you tune in every week and actually find this interesting. I think it's very cool. And very grateful that you're all joining in, asking questions, providing your knowledge. I'm learning stuff every week. I hope you guys are getting little nuggets of information that you find useful, that help you out with your day-to-day stuff. And I want to see you all succeed and thrive. And yeah, appreciate you all watching. No worries, Kieran. Thanks for watching, mate. See you, Paul. See you, Tracy. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.